All right, well, we can wrap up the NFC South as Tampa Bay Buccaneers spotted Carolina to a 2-touchdown lead, and everyone's going all crazy. Oh, no. Stop it. Tom Brady's the quarterback of Tampa Bay. You knew how that game was going to end. My man threw for more than 400 yards. Vita Vea played yesterday. Jansen's coming back in the playoffs, and all of a sudden, well, they're not that good, but they did make the playoffs. They do in the division. They are locked into the number 4 seed. So right now, they would play the Dallas Cowboys, of course. And I tell you what, maybe it took 3 months to figure it out, but he had all day to throw. And when that guy's got all day to throw, he's going to find an open guy. And that's the game. Because Carolina did what they had to do offensively. Yeah. Sam Darnold had a good game. They scored points. But listen, Tom Brady got protection, and that's the most protection he's had all year.
Absolutely. And look, this offense, when it runs through Brady, is just so much better. When they're this up-tempo, moving the ball, kind of with Brady making, I don't think you want to throw the ball 50 times as he throws the ball, but that's the only way the offense works. They can't run the football, and when they're in this mode of Tom Brady kind of go save us, typically they're behind by 10 points as they were in the fourth quarter again today, which they were against, the Rams, the Saints 2 weeks ago as well. Like, they're better when Brady is that guy. Now, they're like good enough to win the Super Bowl? I don't know. But if Brady's playing in this way where he is the offense, they can score points.
I can tell you what happened, though, during yesterday's game in 3 or 4 different cities across America. There were, namely Dallas, as one example. They were like, oh, man.
Yes.
Oh, man.
So they tightened up a little bit?
Because, this is a bad cliche, and I'm sure I would be critical when I heard someone on TV or radio say it, but you want no part of that team in the postseason. Hey, people are afraid, that we hear that all the time, right? Of course, nobody's afraid of anybody, but if you are the Dallas Cowboys, and you lost to them 4 months ago, back in week 1, and Tampa's now playing better football, arguably, than they have played all year, and you, not so arguably, are playing the worst defensive football you have played all year, is there some concern right now in Dallas, Texas, that if the Cowboys don't get out of that 5 spot and win the division, which they could still, which I'll get to in a second, is there some concern that the Dallas Cowboys would have to go to Tampa and lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I think the answer is yes.
Absolutely. There should be some concern because Tom Brady can never be counted out, right? That's the one thing we know about his career. So no matter how poorly they're playing at any point, any game, Tom Brady's never counted. But more importantly, I think, is that how much trust is there in Mike McCarthy? How much trust is there that in the playoff game, Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott will bring their A game on the road at Tampa Bay against Tom Brady?
Mm-hmm. Well, Dallas Cowboys haven't played a complete football game in over a month. Now, here's the deal. If they beat the Commanders on Sunday and the Eagles lose to the Giants, then the Dallas Cowboys win the division. That doesn't make them the number 1 seed. It just gets them out of that 5 spot where they'd have to play Tampa. All right. Okay. Now, they can clinch the number 1 seed. Again, beat the Commanders. Mm-hmm. Eagles lose to the Giants. And here's the rub. Here's the problem with them winning the number 1 seed. San Francisco would have to lose to Arizona. Dude, I don't care who quarterbacks San Francisco. They are not losing to the Arizona Cardinals. So it is possible that the Dallas Cowboys win the NFC East, but do not take the number 1 seed, which would then go most likely to San Francisco. So the Dallas Cowboys could slide in at either 2 or 3. So it's very interesting now, the jockeying for position based on what other teams do. I think we'll all accept the fact that Dallas is going to beat Washington, but you have to then, to be fair, accept the fact that San Francisco is going to beat Arizona. So it's unrealistic to think that the Dallas Cowboys are going to get the number 1 overall seed. But it is not unrealistic to think, as Philadelphia has now lost back-to-back games, and albeit they're playing the Giants, a team that's got nothing to play for because they're locked in at the 6th seed. But here's what I learned about the Eagles yesterday. That offensive line is much different without Lane Johnson. Mm-hmm. The Saints abused them physically yesterday. And the Philadelphia Eagles now have to make a decision. Are they going to bring Jalen Hurts back to win this game to then give themselves another week off? Or do they rest that ailing shoulder another week with the threat that it may cost them the bye week? A lot of decisions now, a lot of balls in the air for what the Eagles decide to do.
If he's healthy to play, he has to play. You have to start getting the vibes feeling better on this team. You mentioned Lane Johnson being out. That's a huge loss.
Huge.
There's no replacing an all-pro player like that. But now you have Josh Sweat hurt as well. Hopefully he's okay. I believe he's out of the hospital, so that's good news.
Yep.
But like the vibes just aren't great in Philly right now. If you bring Hurts back, you play this game, he's healthy enough to win this game, then you start feeling good again, right? The bye is back, you get another week off. But if you don't play him, and you lose this game, you jump all the way down to the 5 seed.
That's possible.
You have to win this game. You have to start feeling good about your program.
I would actually make the argument it's way worse for the Philadelphia Eagles to go down and play Tampa Bay. If they have a collapse and lose in the first week in Tampa Bay to the 4 seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that
it'd be the greatest collapse in NFL history.
Ever.
And gosh, would that really make me upset? By the way, that would make up for all my Jet nonsense if we witnessed the greatest collapse in NFL history. Like they had the MVP wrapped up, they had the division wrapped up, and then to go to the 5 seed and go to Tampa and lose to old man Brady, that would be crazy. Here's the nuttiest thing about it: the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are not a very good football team.
Correct.
No.
They've not been a very good football team this entire year. They even barely beat Carolina yesterday, knowing the division was at stake. I give Brady and Evans, because they're the two guys, right? Mm-hmm. All the credit in the world. They did what they had to do to win that game. But it's the mystique of Tom Brady. There's not another guy, maybe Mahomes, as I think about it on the top of my head, that you would say as a fan base, I don't want to play against that guy. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about teams here.
Yeah.
Against that guy. And I know the Dallas Cowboy fan base right now is sweating it. And I know the Philadelphia Eagle fan base right now is sweating a game against the Giants. And they're hopeful that the New York Giants don't do to them what they did to the Giants 2 years ago. Meanwhile, I'm going to show you one highlight from the Tampa game. Mm-hmm. And it's not Tom Brady. It's not Mike Evans. I don't even know the guy's name.
Really?
But I saw it happen live, and I said, guys, get me that play.
Okay.
So, key part of the game. Tampa Bay's going to punt, all right? Oh. All right? And the punter, fumbles the snap and then panics. Watch this. He rolls to his left, and then he kicks it like he's Diego Maradona.
Yeah.
Yes, down to the 1. See that? Now, to be fair, it didn't count. Oh! It didn't count because there was a penalty on the punter. All right? He crossed the line of scrimmage there. But that guy was like, all right, I'm panicking. And then he kicked it down to the 1. And what was the score there? 30-24 or something like that?
Yeah, 30 seconds left.
Yeah, that was a key part of the game. And he almost ruined it. Because if he gets sacked, right, it's going to be Carolina ball midfield. And you have a chance now to go down and win the game. So, while again, the kick did not count. You got what's that guy's name? Anybody even know? Say it again.
Camarda.
Jake Camarda. My guy.
Great
right
game.
there. Jake Camarda. That's the highlight of the game for me. I know you could talk about Mike Evans. You could talk about Tom Brady. But that's my guy right there.
What's his name again?
Huh?
What's his name again?
Punter.
That's your guy, though.
Yeah,
the punter.
Dude.
You never talk about punters on TV. Give the punters some love, will you?
Did.
Yeah, and you know what he didn't do?
What's that?
He didn't take his helmet off and hit the referee
Right, he didn't.
for making a bad call.
Your violence is way more violent than it was on TV.
He did not do that. What am I doing here now? Let me think what I want to do here.
Oh.
I could go. You pick, Cody. You want door number 1 or door number 2?
I'm gonna go
Now,
with-
I'll tell you what. Door number 1, playoff implications.
Yes.
Door number 2, playoff implications.
Boy, what do I choose? Let's go with door number 2.
Door number 2. Wow, I'm surprised you passed on talking Patriots Dolphins for last night's game, the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got to hand it to the Baltimore Ravens. There is no team in football better at blowing a double-digit lead in the second half other than the Vegas Raiders.
That's true.
And the Baltimore Ravens did it again. 10-point lead early in the third quarter, and that evaporated very quickly. Huntley's not the guy. But it looks like Kenny Pickett might be. Here it is, the game winner. Touchdown. Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh, with that win, did a couple things. First off, the Cincinnati Bengals loved it.
Yes.
Because it helps them win the division against the Ravens, and it might make next week's game a lot less important. It also might make the Bengals have to play the Ravens in the first round, but it did something which I find fascinating. It showed every team like my team, the Jets, every other city in America, that questions whether or not they have a coach that they can believe in, that Pittsburgh has had that for the last 50 years. They've had 3 coaches in 50 years, and they've always picked the right guy. In the last 19 years, the Pittsburgh Steelers have not had a losing season. They are 8-8. That means if they win next week, not only could they possibly, and it's, to be fair, slim, make the postseason, but they would have another winning year. And when you consider the fact that Mitchell Trubisky was their opening day starter, and Kenny Pickett got hurt, and they were kind of left for dead when they were 2-6, which is what they were after 8 games, that they are now sitting there still alive for the playoffs, still alive for a season over 500. You could make Mike Tomlin the coach of the year every damn year. Hey there, thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.